Guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video we are going to be doing my drugstore favorites. So I did something similar to this on TikTok, but obviously on TikTok you can't go like crazy into detail and like be really thorough about why you love the product. So I thought I would do that for today's video. Make sure to subscribe down below, give this video a thumbs up if you do enjoy it, and if you want to see my favorite drugstore products, then just keep on watching. So obviously I have a ton of drugstore favorites. These are just a few that I think that are worth the money. You should absolutely get. Some of these things have definitely been talked about, but I try to find a few things that I feel like a lot of people don't really mention, but I am just like love. So let's just go ahead and get started. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and start off with foundation. So I have two. One's a foundation, one's a skin tint, and they are both by L'Oreal. So the first one is the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear Foundation. Mine is in the shade 400. This is just one of my absolute favorite foundations of all time. Like, honestly, out of my high-end and my drugstore, I will always have this. This is one that I just like have to have in my collection. It wears so long. It can be summertime, it can be wintertime, like it can be like the dead of summer. I can be sweating my butt off. It can be so humid, like my face is just melting away, and this will still be there. Like, this is the most long wearing foundation that isn't super heavy. I feel like a lot of long wearing foundations are so heavy on the skin, but this is a nice, I would say, medium to full coverage foundation. You can definitely get this to full coverage. I like to keep it a little bit more of like a medium coverage, but it's just so pretty. I would say it's more of like a natural satin finish. It's not dewy, it's not super matte, it's just very fresh looking on the face. It is so good. It is so good. It does have SPF 25, which I'm gonna be honest with you isn't much. Like, it's really not gonna do anything, but it's just such a good foundation for like daytime, nighttime. I love this foundation. I can make it like an everyday, or I can really like build it up to be full glam, but it's one of the best foundations I have ever used in my high-end and drugstore combined. And then the next one is the L'Oreal True Match Nude Tinted Serum. So this is newer to me, but I have been obsessed with this. So this is a tinted serum, a skin tint, tinted moisturizer, whatever you want to call it. I feel like they have so many names, but it's pretty much all the same thing. This isn't going to be a super full coverage foundation. This actually has really good coverage for a skin tint. I feel like you can keep this extremely sheer if you want to, or I think you can build it up to actually have quite a bit of coverage. Obviously, if you love full glam, this is not for you, but for my everyday natural girlies, I love this. This is so pretty on the skin. It's just, I don't know, it has a very nice, like, it's not super dewy. That's my problem with oily skin, is I feel like a lot of skin tints have such like a glowy finish. Literally, I'm like a grease ball in like an hour. This lasts a really long time on me. I have not had any problems with like it breaking up, me getting oily. Now, let me try this in the summertime and I'll come back to you, but as of now, like, I still prime my face. I still do set because I do have oily skin, so like if I don't set my face, I'm gonna be a grease ball. But this is such a good skin tint. And my other favorite one is Cali Ray, but these two, like the Cali Ray one and this one, are like tied for being my favorite. To use this, I have done it with a sponge, I've done it with a brush, I've done it with my hands. This is gonna be a little controversial, but I actually love to apply skin tints with my hands just because you can really warm it up and work it into the face, and you can get a little bit more coverage than like if you use a sponge. With skin tints and tinted moisturizers, I don't like to use a sponge other than after I've already applied it. So I'll go in with my hands or rub it in, or I'll go in with a brush and I'll pat it in. But then after that, I will go back over it very lightly with a sponge just to remove any brush strokes, any patchiness, or just like somewhere you might have missed, or just to get any extra product. But I actually really like to use this with my hands. I do hate the packaging. Like, the dropper on this sucks. Like, you literally get one measly little tiny drop. So that's the only thing I don't love, which I know that's a big complaint for a lot of people. My other complaint is this is kind of expensive. Like, for a drugstore, this is a little pricey. I feel like L'Oreal, or like just drugstore in general, is like getting pricier and pricier. I think this is like $19, which for me, that's pricey. I just feel like eventually, like, are we even gonna be able to tell a difference between drugstore and high-end? But yeah, those are my only 2 complaints. Other than that, this is such a good tinted serum. Okay, next we're gonna do primers. I probably should have mentioned this first, but I kind of forgot, so we're just gonna go ahead and mention it now. First thing is the L'Oreal Lumi Lotion. I actually really like this. They have quite a few colors. I know this is really big on TikTok. A lot of people are using this in places like the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. I'm trying to think of ones. Oh, the Drunk Elephant Bronzy Drops. If you can't get those, they have like bronzy shades of this. I know people are using like in ways that they would use the Drunk Elephant ones. I like to use this on its own, like underneath foundation, or I'll mix it in with my moisturizer, even when I'm not wearing makeup, just to give you like a nice glow. It is called the Lumi Lotion, so it is like a hydrating product while also being glowy. So it's just a really nice product. It adds a nice illumination to the skin while not making me look oily, and I don't feel like it makes my foundation get weird and oily or anything like that. I feel like it just gives a really nice glow, healthy glow to the skin underneath foundation, or even on just like a no makeup day. It's just like a really pretty healthy glow, and it doesn't make me look oily. The next thing is the Hard Candy Sheer Envy Hydrating Primer. So this is a dupe for the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip. You can get this at Walmart, and I don't know where else you can get Hard Candy from, but I got mine at Walmart, and last time I looked, it was still there. I think they have changed the packaging of this, and it's in like a different packaging, but this is honestly one of the best primers I've ever used from the drugstore. I've talked about it before. I think it's only $9 or $10, and it is exact dupe for the Milk Makeup, like exactly. Honestly, I like this one better than the Milk Makeup. I think that I don't know, I just think that overall it's just a lot better. I don't even care to repurchase the Milk Makeup one because I just think this is a better product. Sometimes, like, okay, with gripping primers, you always want to let them sit into the skin for just a couple minutes. So let's say you do your skincare. Obviously, this is going to sound like so like tedious, but obviously when you do your skincare, you want to give it a few minutes to sink in before you go right in with foundation or primers, because it can cause pilling. Then with this product also, give it like 1 or 2 minutes before you go in with foundation or another primer, because it will pill. Like, just any gripping primer will. But I will say with this one, I don't have that problem. Like, I never have peeling. Like, even with my Milk Makeup one, I could let that thing sit for like 3 minutes and I still feel like it would pill or patch sometimes. So that one was just a little bit more of like a tedious product, and it was just sometimes hard to use. I don't have that problem with this one. I feel like it does not pill on me. Honestly, like, I don't really have to be super careful with this one because I just don't think it pills. It has a really nice tack to it. Really helps to grip the makeup and helps it to last all day. It's just so good. If you tried the Milk Makeup one and you didn't like it, I would try this. Or if you can't get your hands on it, again, try this. It's so good. And then the next thing is the e.l.f. Matte Putty Primer. So this is such a good drugstore primer. This one is the matte one. They have the regular putty primer, they have the mattifying one, and then they have the hydrating one. And I think they have another one now. I don't know. They keep like releasing a lot of these. But this is just the matte one. I really, really like this one. So it is kind of like that, like the Tatcha Silk Canvas. This is kind of like a product that got really, really hyped up, and then it kind of came back down. And now I don't feel like people talk about it as much, but this is such a good primer. I feel like it really helps to make my makeup last all day. I feel like it really helps to control oil, and I feel like it's really good at filling in the pores. Sometimes you kind of get one or the other. Like, if maybe it's really good at helping you to stay matte all day, but it doesn't really fill in the pores, or it fills in the pores but it doesn't help with like the shine. I feel like you get the best of both worlds with this one. I am going to mention one primer. I don't know if you can still get this. You used to be able to get it at Ulta, but I don't know if L'Oreal discontinued this or if they reformulated it. I don't really know. But this is the L'Oreal Matte Lock Primer. I have never heard anyone talk about this. I have like a little sample size. a little bit of this goes a really long way. It's almost like a lotiony type of texture. So it's really easy to use because I don't get peeling with this. I don't ever have it get weird, but it's such a good primer for making my makeup last all day, and I do not get oily with this. Like with this primer, I am matte throughout the day. I do not get oily. I love this one during the summertime because I am not gonna get oily. So this is such a good one. I don't know if you can still get it, so that's why. And I don't know if they have something similar on Ulta, but I don't know if they like reformulated this one, so I'll have to like look and see if I can find it. I will link it down below. Okay, next, this is a oldie but a goodie for me. I have had this in my, well, not this exact one, but I've had this powder in rotation for years. I have been using this powder since I think high school, like my freshman year of high school. This is the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder. This is in the shade 05 Fair. They have 4 or 5 shades of this. I can't exactly remember, but this is such a good powder. Like honestly, this is one of my all-time favorite powders. I did hear like there was a little like rumor or something like this was getting discontinued. I don't know if that's true or not, but as far as I know, you can still get it. This is one of the best powders I have ever used, like high-end drugstore combined. My favorite high-end is the Huda Beauty powders, the loose setting powders. Those are amazing. I honestly feel like this is such a good dupe for the Huda Beauty ones. If you can't get your hands on the Huda Beauty ones, or you don't feel like splurging on one that expensive, this is such a good powder. This is such a good dupe for that one. They're both very finely milled and they're both very blurring. They both help my makeup to last all day. I feel like with the Huda Beauty one, with this one, if I can be having like a really like my concealer is not looking good, the foundation, like something just isn't like looking good on my face, I feel like I can put one of these powders on and it just gives me the most airbrushed finished look, and it just fixes all of my makeup problems. Again, this is one of the best. I have been using this for years. It's one of the best drugstore powders. Honestly, I think it is the best drugstore powder. Blushes to talk about. So the first one is one that I feel like everyone talks about. Everyone has used this probably at one point or another. And like if you're into makeup, or if you were, I don't know, this product has just been around for years. So this is the Milani baked powder blush. This one's in Dulce Pink. I have been using these blushes. I used to use Luminoso, which I feel like everyone did, but this is such a good blush. It is really glowy, so just keep that in mind. Like they're all very glowy. I feel like they don't have like a ton of pigment, which is what I kind of like. I will use this on its own, or I love to use it as a blush topper. So some days I like, or even like here lately, like instead of doing highlight, I'll just go in with a glowy blush over top of my blush. And I like that this one isn't super pigmented, so you can kind of use it as a blush topper, because you know, obviously if it's too pigmented, I wouldn't be able to use it over top of a blush. But this is also so pretty on its own. It does have pigment. I will like build it up a little, but it's nothing like super crazy. I think they did reformulate these a couple years ago. I could be wrong, but I really like this. It's just so pretty. It's so pretty on the face. It does have like little specks of glitter, but I feel like you can't see it on the face. It's just very healthy and glowy looking on the face. So I just wanted to get this little shout out, even though I feel like everyone has probably heard of these. And then the next one I haven't heard anyone talk about in a long time. I actually heard about these from Carly Bible. So these are the Flower Beauty Flower Pot Powder Blushes. You guys, I love these. I am wearing this today. So I have 2 colors. They have, I did break this one, but this one is Sweet Pea and this one's Wild Rose. So I love these blushes. They have just the most perfect amount of pigment. I love mixing these. At one point I was literally wearing Sweet Pea like every single day, or like every single time I did my makeup. I mean, obviously like the packaging is a little cheap, but I don't really care. These are like $9 I think at Ulta. You used to be able to get Flower Beauty at Walmart, but I don't think you can anymore. But these are just the best drugstore blushes I have tried. I feel like with drugstore blushes, or like even drugstore blushes, powders, highlights, anything like that, it's really hard to find ones that are like super powdery, really chalky, have no pigment to them. They're just really hard to work with. But these are so easy to work with, very blendable. They have such pretty colors. I'm just like obsessed, especially since these are matte. Like it's really hard to find a matte blush that isn't really chalky at the drugstore, but these are literally some of my favorite blushes. One is if you like that like Dior Rosy Glow blush, or the Tarte Energy blush, like just like the, you know, those like really bright pinks. If you like that like cool toned like pinky blush, you'll really like this one. You just need to try these are so good, especially if you're like a blush person like I am. They're just so nice. Okay, and then the last thing I want to talk about are lip liners. So these are the NYX Slim Lip Pencils, but they also have the NYX Suede Matte Lip Pencils. I do like the suede ones, but I like these a little bit more. These are like a really good dupe for like the MAC lip pencils. The suede ones are really good too. I feel like I like the colors of the slim matte ones a little bit more, and I think these are just a smidge creamier. These are a wooden pencil, creamy enough that you can glide it on and it's not tugging at your lips, so they're dry enough that they're not going all over the place. There's a jet coming. One second. Anyway, so these are such a good formula. I love these. I have the shades Mauve, Natural, and Peekaboo Neutral. Mauve is a really good dupe for MAC Whirl. They're like very similar to each other, so if you don't feel like splurging on MAC Whirl, this is a really good dupe. And then everyone on TikTok says that Peekaboo Neutral is a really good dupe for Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk. I don't have Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk, but supposedly it's a really good dupe. These are so good. I love these. If you don't want to splurge on a lip liner, which I totally understand, these are so good. And if you like a wooden pencil, they're really good. So yeah, one thing. Oh, I almost forgot. There is one thing that I do want to mention. So I will put it in the screen because I don't have it. The Milani Make It Last setting spray, and then the Milani Make It Last matte setting spray. I really like both of these. I will say the Milani Make It Last, like the original one, has more of like a satin finish. I wouldn't say it's like a matte finish to it, but it really like settles everything into the skin. It looks very like, it just helps everything look a little bit more skin-like, and my makeup lasts all day with it. But I used to use the Maybelline matte one all the time because, again, I do have oily skin, so I do kind of like a little bit more of that like I liked the finish of it a little bit more. Actually, you know what? The Milani, the original, kind of reminds me of the Charlotte Tilbury setting spray, and then the matte one kind of reminds me of the Urban Decay All Nighter. They're just kind of like different finishes. I would say like, I don't want to say glow, but I feel like the original does kind of give you like a little bit more of like a glow, and then the matte one kind of gives you more of like a satiny finish. But they both really help to like sink in everything into the skin. They make my makeup last all day long. When I couldn't afford to like splurge on like a on like the Urban Decay or the Charlotte Tilbury, I used to use that one all the time. My only complaint is the size. I wish they would make them bigger. They're only like 4 ounces, I think. No, 2 ounces. They're really little. That's like one of my complaints, is they're really small, so you do go through it pretty fast. And I don't know if they changed the formula of the matte one, because I seen on Ulta there was a lot of bad reviews saying that it was leaving like gray like spots, like the charcoal in it was leaving like spots on their face. I have never had that problem. Obviously, make sure you really shake it up, and I think it even says like on the bottles like to shake well. So I don't know if that was the problem or if they reformulated, but I have never had that issue with the matte one. I've never had it leave like weird splotches on my face or anything like that. But other than that, those are like holy grail, such a good setting spray. Okay, now I'm done. I can definitely do a part 2 to this if you want to see a part 2. I have tons of drugstore favorites, so just let me know down below. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.